Here are 3 different manga you should check out. This video is much different compared to what I've done thus far on this channel. I haven't done any manga reviews yet, so let's change that. I'm going to summarize and review some newer ongoing manga, hopefully persuade you to pick up at least one of the titles. What I mean by newer manga is that it started publishing in either 2022 or 2023. I have 3 very different manga, each focusing on different genres, so at least one of these titles should interest you. Each of the 3 titles are very solid choices, and I've been enjoying them thus far. Let's jump right into it. The first one up is Matagi Gunner. Matagi Gunner is an action slice-of-life manga revolving around gaming. As of making this video, there's been 24 chapters translated, and they are being pumped out like crazy. Matagi Gunner follows Hitonari Yamano. He's a retired Matagi, living a lonely life in the countryside since his wife has recently died. A Matagi is a mountain hunter, and Hitonari was really good at it, so much so that his nickname is One Shot Hitonari. He's also extremely unsociable. As far as I can remember, they never really say his age, but he is a grandfather with his granddaughter being in high school, so my guess would be right around 60 years of age. While taking a walk, he finds a place where people have been illegally dumping stuff and finds a fully functioning gaming console amidst the pile. He decides to bring it home and gets help setting it up. In the disc tray of the console, there's an extremely popular battle royale called Gunner's Tribe. At first, he has zero clue how to play, struggling to do so. After 2 years of grinding, being consumed by the game, he becomes one of the top players playing as a samurai sniper. He becomes extremely good at the game in part because he understands how to fight, after being a Matagi so long in life, knowing just how to get a one-shot kill. Slowly throughout the manga, he gains popularity, one of his admirers being a high school girl named Takana Shirakane, who just so happens to attend the same exact school as his granddaughter. Takana tracks down Hitonari and asks him to team up. Throughout the rest of the manga, they spend time together and learn from each other. Takana teaches him some multiplayer shooter lingo and ideas, while Hitonari teaches her more real-life advice, mainly on hunting, but that advice could also be translated into gaming. He's also helped Takana eliminate a professional gamer she wanted to take revenge on. By doing this, he's gained kind of a cult following, with many people copying his character model and acting like they are him. This also includes Takana giving it a go in secret, seeing what the fuss is about. Throughout this entire time, he's completely oblivious to the praise he's receiving and doesn't really understand just how great he actually is at the game. Hitonari's becoming a bit more sociable thus far. There has been some growth with him. Overall, I would like it to be a bit more noticeable and a bit slower in pace. I would get done reading a chapter of him growing outside of the video game, and overall it just seemed like it was glossed over. Takana is questioning herself whether she thinks she can actually become a pro gamer or not, which is her dream, but yet again it's another area where the manga kind of just glances over that fact. Fixing the pace can definitely improve the manga. Overall, these personal growth areas just seem vastly overlooked thus far. They just introduced other professional gamers around the world taking notice of Hitonari, setting up potential clashes with them in the future. Takana's rival is also obsessed with Yamano, so much so that she went from Spain to Japan just in search of him. He's accidentally stumbled across her very recently, so I'm interested in how that turns out. Overall, Matagi Gunner has been really solid for me thus far, and I would give it a 7.25 out of 10. It's been solid, but for it to see a massive bump up in rating, those personal growth areas need to be less glossed over and worked on, and the pacing needs a little bit of fixing. There are plenty of options for the direction of the manga, so I'm interested in that, and I'm excited for its future. I'm actually surprised it was so difficult for me to put the series down. I've been grinding the manga as it's come out every single chapter. The next manga up is False Child. False Child is a psychological comedy supernatural story following 2 parents still mourning the loss of their daughter. It has been around 1 year since Nana and Kohi's daughter Yuzu died. A Tanuki who has been mistreated by humans in the past decides it wants to make humans cry, so it transforms into the first picture of a human that it sees. It just so happens to transform into the spitting image of Yuzu. A Tanuki looks like a raccoon. As of making this video, there have been 7 chapters translated into English. What would you do if you saw your long dead daughter standing right before you? The first thing Nana does is hug her, saying she will never let her go. Eventually she realizes that it's not her daughter, it's a Tanuki that has transformed. Nana informs her husband Kohei of the Tanuki, and they both decide to take care of her for the time being. It's obviously nice to see somebody who looks exactly like their daughter. It brings back a bunch of great memories for them. They decide to let the charade continue for the time being, since the fake user's presence brings them joy. At the same time, however, the Tanuki is actually doing her job. She's making these humans sad because although she looks exactly like their daughter, their actual daughter is dead and will never come back. The Tanuki is serving as a reminder of such. She has been causing pain to the parents, but at the same time, it does seem like they are enjoying being around her, perhaps liking the fact that they can still act like parental figures to the Tanuki. I'm genuinely curious what others would do in this situation. It's extremely difficult to let somebody go, and obviously losing a child is horrible. I feel like many people would grasp onto this Tanuki and never let go of it. Thus far in the manga, they have been teaching the Tanuki how to be more human, while taking care of her and figuring out more about her kind. There's been some funny moments and some interesting psychological bits. The parents are forced with a decision whether to keep their fake daughter around, and have been warned that transformed animals incite confusion in humans around them. If they want to keep her, then there's a system in place called the false child system, where she would be adopted and the parents would be acknowledged as her lawful guardians. This manga has been a blast to read thus far. The fake Yuzu is starting to feel some guilt because she just now realized that she took on the appearance of a long dead child. Yes, she did at first want to make humans cry, but she has definitely taken a liking to Nana and Kohei, so making them feel bad in this way is definitely affecting her. I'm assuming as the manga continues, we'll learn just how the Tanuki was mistreated in the past. I highly recommend reading this manga, and thus far I'd give it an 8.25 out of 10. When all is said and done, this manga should easily be the best out of the 3 I'm recommending in this video. I don't really expect this one to be ridiculously long either, maybe around 30 chapters when all is said and done. And the final manga for this video is, when trying to get back at the hometown bullies, another battle began. I had to sneak in one really long title that explains just what the manga is about. It is an extremely long title, but it did its job luring me into reading it. As of writing the script for this video, there are 8 chapters in total. It is a romance comedy harem manga, and it's also pretty suggestive at times. Growing up, 3 local bullies tormented and always bested Kotaro in 3 different activities. They are Kane the basketball prodigy, Akira the wrestling whiz, and Shigure the gamer. He has always failed trying to best them at the thing they were best at, constantly being beaten and degraded in the process. Kotaro leaves town because of his parents, but has finally returned after 5 years, transferring into their school. He has grown bigger, stronger, and better, now hoping to exact revenge on the others. There is a twist though. He never knew that any of the 3 bullies were all girls. So growing up his entire life, he was bullied and beaten by 3 girls. Each of them did so because they desired his attention, not knowing how to actually convey their feelings toward him. All 3 girls are madly in love with him. Now, all 3 of them try their best to win over his affection. Unfortunately for them, he's already in love with somebody else. Thus far in the manga, he's played against Kane and just started playing against Shigure, them being the basketball prodigy and the gamer respectively. Kotaro decided to play an old game that Kane created, which is basically Strip 21, which they did in the school gym. If anybody hits a 3-pointer, then the other person has to take an article of clothing off. During the game, Kane has noticed just how much better Kotaro has gotten, meaning he is putting tons of practice time in. Shigure has noticed an improvement in Kotaro as well when they played Rip-Off Smash Bros at her place. That's the reason why all the girls grew up liking him. He works extremely hard and has a fantastic attitude, always trying to become a better person. He's still the same boy that they fell in love with 5 years prior. The biggest problem with this manga thus far is the person who he is in love with. That person is a VTuber streamer. I have 0 qualms with the VTuber part. I have a problem that he's madly in love with somebody online who has no idea who he is. The reasons he likes her are fine. That VTuber inspires him, makes him laugh, and talks about chasing your dreams without fear. All positive things. That being said though, he is pushing the boundaries of being a complete loser MC that's completely unaware that there are 3 different girls who are madly in love with him. Thus far, I'd give this manga a 7 out of 10. I think each of the girls are pretty solid and enjoyable. Even Kotaro, when he's around them, is great. It's just the whole in love with a celebrity-like figure who has 0 clue who he is makes him a bit less likable. This manga definitely has the potential to be much better and really enjoyable. I just really hope that it fulfills that potential. Here's a quick graphic showcasing each of the manga, what I rated them, and how many chapters there are translated thus far. From left to right is Matsugi Gunner, when trying to get back at the hometown bullies, another battle began, and finally, False Child. Overall, it's not super fair that I included Matsugi Gunner since it does have more chapters than both of the other manga combined, but in my defense, when I started reading it, it had only around 12 chapters. The translations for it have been being pumped out like clockwork, and I've been keeping up to date with it. Hopefully I did my job in enticing you to pick up and read at least one of the manga. Tell me if you enjoyed the video format, maybe I'll do another one of these in the future. That's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.